Hi and welcome to The Active Later Life. My name is Martin and I'm here to encourage you to live your most active later life. So today I really want to talk about travel, and for me I'm really big into the one bag travel, but at the same time I also want to be able to do the active things that I'm doing, especially if I'm training for a race or something like that. So as a runner there's certain things I need to bring. There are a lot of channels out there about one bag travel. I actually learned a lot from a guy called Morris Moves. He's not affiliated to my channel in any way whatsoever. I just happen to like what he was talking about, and I would recommend you check him out if you really want to look at how to travel light. But for me as a runner, I kind of want to be able to bring everything that I need to run, at the same time as bring everything I need for the travel as well. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today, and I really hope this is helpful. So one bag travel really begins with making sure you've got the right equipment to carry all the stuff you're going to carry.
You got to have the right tool for the job, Beaver.
You want to be able to make sure everything in it is going to be light enough that you're going to be able to walk through the airports with it, because you don't want to be checking luggage in. And you want to be able to have stuff to cover a few eventualities, but realize that the biggest mistake you can really make is going through the what if scenarios, because most of the what ifs don't happen, and most places we travel to you can always buy the things if a crazy what if situation happens. So that's the one thing that'll bog you down the most. But first of all, let's look at the bag that I picked to travel with. Now one bag travel's become really popular anyway, and so there's a lot of options out there. For me personally, I chose the Peak Design travel pack. It's about $300. Sounds like a lot of money, but seriously, it's worth spending out on a good bag if you're going to travel a lot, because as my grandma always said, buy cheap, buy twice. There are cheaper options out there and they will serve you pretty well, but I've just found that this particular backpack has served me very well. I was actually torn between the choice of the packed backpack and the Peak Design, and in the end I chose the Peak Design because it just had a certain amount of functionality that the pack did. Although I do love the clamshell kind of design of the pack, which opens up like a regular suitcase. However, the Peak Design just had so many more features that worked well for me. So to begin with, what you want to make sure is that the handles are actually comfortable. These are rigid padded. I wouldn't seriously go on any extraneous hikes with it. It's not really designed for that kind of thing. It's really designed for city travel and for traveling on maybe a business trip or a short city break or a small vacation. If you're going to do any extreme hiking, then seriously I would recommend going more for a backpack that's designed for that kind of thing. But for everyday travel, this is perfect. It packs up really small when you're storing it. Even the straps pack inside the backpack, so when you're storing it, it takes up very little space. And there are so many access points to get into this. And it's designed in such a way that you load it from the side that goes onto your back. So that way then, that side never touches the ground when you're loading it, so therefore it stays clean onto your clothes and things like that. And if any side gets dirty, it's going to be the exposed part on the back. So that's a great design for it. But you can access it from both sides too. So you can always add something into it or pull something out if it's on your back, or have a friend grab something out for you. There's so many different ways to get into this backpack, and that's one reason why I like it. Now I'm not going to do an in-depth review of the backpack, because honestly, if you really want to see all the features of it, you can go to Peak Design's own website and they go into it in every detail you can imagine. I just want to point out a few of the little features that I like. I particularly like the fact that it has big stretchable water container side pockets that you can put things into the side pockets, a big water bottle if you need to. I like the fact that it has a movable chest strap, so you can adjust it depending on what clothing you're wearing. I like the fact it's got cinch straps, so if you actually go cycling or something, or climbing or skiing, you can actually strap your ski helmet or your bike helmet to the outside. I love the fact that it's got a soft pocket to put things like your sunglasses and things in when you're going to go through security. And I also like the fact that it's expandable, so if you are taking a few extra things, especially if you've got a race or something coming up, you're taking a few extra items for any competition or something that you're doing, then you can expand it out to 45 litres. Although at 30 litres it's guaranteed to fit every carry-on size regulation that an airline has. At 45 you may have some issues with it. Most American airlines probably wouldn't care, but some of the cheaper low budget European carriers like Ryanair or EasyJet might be a little bit concerned with the fact that it can be a bit big when you expand it out. But at its normal size, it's perfect for any airline. So those are the things I like most about the backpack, and now I'll talk about what I bring with me, especially if I'm going to be running while I am on my trips. whether it's a business trip or a family trip or anything like that, and how I fit it all into this one backpack. Now, the one thing about one bag travel for sure is that you need to be organized and efficient. And the best thing you can do is to get packing cubes. I love packing cubes for when you're traveling because it means that everything has its place, and when you get to a hotel or an Airbnb or a friend's house or wherever you're doing, you can just lay them out around you. You don't need to unpack them all and organize when you get there. It's all organized in the cubes ready for you. And so I'm now going to go through and show you the packing cubes that I use and what I put in each one. So my first packing cube is a small one, and that is really for my underwear and socks. And usually I'll bring 5 pairs of underwear and 5 pairs of socks, plus the ones I'm wearing at the time on the plane. And that's more than enough for any length of trip, whether you're staying for a week, 2 weeks, a month, or multiple months, because you can always rinse and hang them up anywhere you like. And as long as you get material that is very flexible and very easy to dry, you can rinse them out in your hotel room and they'll be dry by the morning anyway. So in some ways you may not even need 6 pairs, but it's always good to have more than less of underwear and socks, because if your feet get wet, you might want to change again in the day, or you just never know if you're going to need to make a change of that kind of thing. And so what I'll do is I'll fold up my underwear really tight, really small and compact, and put them in the bottom, and I'll lay the socks on top, and then it's good to go. So the next cube I have is slightly bigger, and that's for t-shirts, and I would bring only 3 t-shirts. And the reason why I can do that is because I wear merino wool t-shirts when traveling. The reason why is that merino wool shirts you can wear for days on end and they don't smell. I tend to bring 3 merino wool shirts, 1 to wear on the plane, 2 to carry, and I'll alternate and rotate them just to air them out each day. You don't necessarily need to do that, but I just find I like to do that for my own personal comfort, really. The other thing I may put in there also, maybe a button-down shirt if I've got something formal to go to. If I don't have anything formal to go to, then I'm not going to bring a button-down shirt. So that's my next cube, 2 merino wool t-shirts plus the one I'm wearing. The next cube is slightly bigger, and that one also has these compression straps in it too. And what I pack in here are pants, and it depends on the time of year or the place I'm going to is how I decide to do that. I'll either bring 2 pairs of long pants and 1 pair of shorts, or I'll bring 2 pairs of shorts and 1 pair of long pants. It depends on the occasion. If it's a more formal trip, definitely 2 pairs of pants and 1 pair of shorts. If it's a hot country maybe, or more of a chill vacation, 2 shorts and 1 pants. The shorts I'll bring would be more like, I got these from Uniqlo. They're pretty cheap, they're water resistant, and they look formal enough to wear at a restaurant. They're also very light, very water wicking, and they dry in no time if they get wet, and they're easy to clean. If the long pants I love are these ABC pants in Lululemon. Yeah, they're not that cheap, but they're actually really great for travel. They fold up small, they don't crease. One thing I would avoid when traveling, one bag travel, is denim. Denim is not your friend when traveling. The reason why denim is heavy, when it gets wet, it takes forever to dry. And also, you can't always wear denim on every formal occasion, but you can always wear a casual slack like the ABC pants at a formal dinner. So you actually got a 2-in-1 really. You can wear them casually, or you can wear them formally. You can dress them up or dress them down, and that's the great thing about them. I will wear 1 pair of long pants on the plane because you never know if the air conditioning is going to get cold. I don't like to wear shorts on a plane unless it's a very short trip where I can stand it, because sometimes the air conditioning can be very cold. You never know what you're going to get with a plane. Sometimes it can be warm, sometimes it can be cold. So you want to be prepared for that situation. If I'm taking 2 long pants, I'll put 1 long pants on that I'm wearing and 1 that I'll put in the cube, and I'll put the shorts with it. And if I'm taking 2 shorts and 1 long pants, I'll still wear the long pants, but I'll put the 2 shorts in the cube. Another thing I bring with the pants is also a belt that really is just a canvas and plastic. There's no metal on this whatsoever, so it's not going to set any metal detectors off. And that way then when I'm going through security, I'm not going to be told to take the belt off. And that way I'll get through security much quicker. The next cube is my sports cube. And that's the one that I put my running stuff in. And I'll bring the lightest weight pair of shorts that I own, my running t-shirt, which is wicking and lightweight too. And then if it's winter time or going to be cold, I'll bring some running tights and maybe a long sleeve. I'll also pack 2 running hats. One that I'm going to wear on the plane and one that I will take with me in a case. That way then, if I run, I get sweaty, I can rinse one hat out and let it dry and wear the other one for the day. Because I like to wear my hats during the daytime too, because I'm bald and I don't want to expose my head to the elements. And the thing is, you only really need to bring 1 running kit, because this stuff dries so quickly. What you do is you go for your run in the morning or in the evening or whatever time of day you do it, then when you get back and take your shower, rinse everything out right away, and it should be dry in time for your next run. Next thing I do is bring a bag for my running shoes to fit into, and that way it keeps the inside of my bag clean. Now at this point you've got to make a decision if you're going to be running road or trails, because 1 bag carry, you really don't have the space to bring 2 2 pairs of running shoes unless you compromise with something else. So for the most part, I'll only bring my road shoes because every city has road running, but trails often are a bit further out. But if I know I'm in a place where there's a lot of trails, I'll bring trail shoes instead. But either way, I just bring 1 pair of shoes and I put them into this pouch. Obviously, if it's a race day, then I may have to adapt a little bit more, but for the most part, for everyday running, 1 pair of running shoes is fine. Just make sure that you just pack them because you don't want to be wearing your running shoes for everyday use. You know, you keep your running shoes for running and keep your everyday shoes for every day. So that's it as far as packing cubes go, but there are some other things that we need to bring as well, of course. And if you're running, you're going to need to, especially if you're doing longer runs, you might want to bring a hydration belt. Now, my everyday runs, I tend to use this very small, lightweight one, but when I'm traveling, I'll bring a slightly bigger one because the reason is this one actually doubles up as a place to put your travel documents and things like that too. It's big enough for that, whereas the everyday running one really isn't. It's just big enough to put your phone and maybe a couple of gels. This one I could put my passports, I could put any travel documentation that I need in it as well. And then of course I'll bring a water bottle. Now this water bottle will actually double up as extra water for the plane. You can just go to the airport and fill it up. It'll fit into your hydration belt, but I tend to put it in the side of my backpack when I'm traveling and just take it out for runs and put it in my running belt when I get to my hotel. That way then I've got my water accessible at all times. As a runner, especially if you're doing any long runs, I would recommend bringing your nutrition with you. I usually bring a few gels and I put them in a Ziploc with me, and that way then I've got the nutrition that I need for any long runs that I may be doing. That kind of thing is really hard to find if you're in a strange city, you wouldn't know where to get it, and your nutrition can be very specific to what you like, so you may not be able to find the kind of gels or bars that you would normally like. So it's a good idea to bring a few. Just bring enough that you're going to do for the runs you're planning. You don't need to go overboard and bring a whole box, just the ones you're going to need. Now, one thing I will sometimes bring, depending on the kind of trip it is, if I'm going to a place where I'm like to pick up all kinds of souvenirs or gifts or anything local that I can't get from home, I'll bring a fold-up duffel bag. And the reason why is because my 1 travel bag is going to be so full. This way I've got an extra bag I can take coming home. It's small enough actually to be another carry-on, but I can also check it on if I buy something like a bottle of whiskey or a local liquid or something like that that cannot be carried on, then I can check that on too. Of course, I'll have to pack it with all kinds of things to keep it from breaking and that sort of thing, like maybe some towels or some clothes to wrap it in. But at least then I've got something that I can use to bring gifts home. But if I know I'm not going to need it, I won't bring it. And talking of bringing back souvenirs, quite often you might want to bring back a bottle of local whiskey or wine or whatever, and that way then I'll bring one of these bottle protectors. That way then it can go in that duffel bag that I've packed, and then of course I surround it with some clothing or a sweater or something like that, and that'll protect it because you're going to have to check that on. You can't carry that kind of liquid through into an airplane. So that way then I've got the option to check a bag home if I need to. Again, if I know that I'm not going to need it, I won't bring it, but sometimes if I go to a place where I know I'm likely to buy something like that, then that's something I will bring because that'll help with my journey home. Now the Peak Design backpack has a really great tech pocket, and so you can really organise your tech without having to put that into another pouch or anything like that, although I do bring a couple of pouches to organise things. Most importantly, of course, are things like a charging adapter. I have this Anchor charging adapter that can charge anything from a computer to headphones to a phone, anything you need. I always bring a little 12-volt adapter to put into a car. I have an adapter to put my phone onto a bicycle handlebar in case I rent a bike, or I can put my phone on it and navigate with it. I have a car navigation mount, which is very small. It just fits into the air vents, so you can just slap your phone on that and have navigation really safely and easily. I also have a 3-in-1 cable that has Lightning, USB-C and micro USB for any charging that you may need. I also bring a couple of pens and a notepad just in case you need to write something down. And it's always good to have this kind of thing just in case you need it. You just never know. It's also handy to have the pens available, so that when you get the landing cards and customs documents handed to you on the plane, you could just fill out those documents right there on the plane and just hand them into immigration as soon as you land. Saves you having to waste time filling out at the airport. So it's always a good thing to try and be more efficient if you can. Another thing I always bring with me are my Shocks bone conduction headphones for when I'm running. If I'm on a short flight, I'll probably wear them to listen to music on the plane, but on a longer flight, I actually just like to have my Bose noise cancelling headphones. Those are kind of big, they hang on the outside of my backpack, but for running, got to have those with me, and they pack up pretty small. They'll fit in the backpack, no problem. Now, I no longer have to bring a big laptop with me unless I need some really heavy computing power when I'm traveling. 9 times out of 10 now, everything that I need to do, I could do on my Apple iPad Pro, even editing. The DaVinci Resolve works very well on the M4 iPad Pros. If I'm doing a lot of intense file management, then it does fall a little flat, so then I would have to bring a laptop with me, but for the most part, I just need to bring the iPad and I can do everything I need to do. I can surf the web, I can check my emails, I can edit. It does pretty much everything that my MacBook used to do. When you're traveling light, it works perfectly fine. So obviously you have to bring a wash kit, and in here I just simply have my electric shaver, I have a toothbrush, I have toothpaste, well toothpaste tablets actually, which travel better than toothpaste does. It's not going to get crushed and make a mess of everything. I also have a small set of nail clippers and a pair of tweezers and a tiny sewing kit in here. And that's pretty much everything I need. Oh, and a small bar of soap just in case. Though most hotels have the soap for you, but just in case, a small bar of soap in there, which I stole from a hotel one time and never used it. And the last two things that I'll always bring with me, and they're in a very accessible part of the backpack, is a hoodie and a raincoat, a very lightweight raincoat that folds up super small. And the reason for that is even if you're traveling somewhere warm, I'd always bring a hoodie with me because airplanes, sometimes the air conditioning can be very cold, so you might want to have a layer to put on. Sometimes warm places can be cold at night, so you might want to have a layer to put on. And the raincoat, you just never know, if you walk out the airport and there's a downpour, at least then you've got something that's going to keep you reasonably dry when you step outside. And so it's worth having something like that with you. So now the elephant in the room is shoes. And shoes take up a lot of space in your backpack. And that is why I recommend only taking your running shoes in your backpack and then finding a pair of shoes that are versatile, that can be worn with pretty much everything. Some flat shoes. And so for me, I like these grey Ulukais because they literally go with any kind of outfit and any color you could imagine. One time I was on a trip where I had to go to a wedding and the dress code was black. And so I had to wear black shoes. So then I got these black Allbirds, which are very comfortable and very casual, but also can be dressed up very smartly with a pair of black pants and a shirt. And in that case, I just had to make sure that everything I picked went well with black. Whereas with the Ulukais, pretty much anything goes. So as a runner, that's exactly how I like to travel as a one-bag traveler and make sure I have everything that I need. And the great thing is that this morning I just checked out my hotel, but my flight is not until later this afternoon. But I actually have more time to enjoy this great city because I don't need to leave any luggage at the hotel concierge as I have everything with me. And when I get to the airport, I can go straight through security without having to worry about checking any luggage in either. And when I get to the other end, I don't need to go to the carousel and wait because my luggage and everything that I need is all with me as well. Now, please put in the comments exactly how you like to travel as a one-bag traveler, especially if you're active like I am. And also, please like and subscribe if you like this content, and I'll see you again in the next video.